Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, he's bragged that he gets love letters in 6 different languages, but he also pays child support in 8 different currencies. He's my co-host, he's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, don't tell the inland revenue.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. Fool, should I have said that?
Well, no.
He's got a lady in every port.
I wish.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, welcome back to another episode of the show, and thank you, new listeners, and of course, you repeat offenders. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why. I think this every day of my life.
Must be what we'll talk about.
It must be. Well, thank you. Whatever your reasons for coming back.
Yeah,
we appreciate
keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Spread the word.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have noticed an uptake in subscribers. So thank you, all you new subscribers.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah.
We've got plenty coming up in the next couple of weeks, months.
Oh, have we?
In terms of great topics.
Yes.
Yeah, we do actually.
Oh, yeah.
I know we have this sort of footloose and fancy free sort of like, that's how it feels. But now we do actually think about what's coming up.
We do put work into
sometimes.
This. Yeah.
Well, we have
well.
actually got some great shows coming up. I do have some. I've got a question for you, actually, Taylor.
All right.
It's that time of the episode, you know, I've got one of those head scratches.
Yeah, I need a question.
I've got a question for you. Well, what happens if everybody on Earth stood so close together, as close as possible, and jumped at the same time? What do you reckon would happen?
I don't think that much, to be honest.
Well, you'd be wrong.
Even though there'd be a lot of mass in one little area.
Well, no, yeah, we'd be wrong. There would be an incredible amount of mass.
Yes.
Yeah. And if we all did it, we'd all die. Yeah.
So we don't want to do that.
If every person on Earth jumped at exactly the same time, our bodies would be crushed under their own weight.
Yeah, like the world can communicate that well.
It's like, right, guys, it's like hands across America.
Yeah,
it's like they couldn't even get everyone hold hands.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's true. Apparently
it's
true.
It's good that we can.
It's a theory.
It is a theory.
I don't know if it's a correct theory. What do you guys think? If everybody jumped at once, would that just have catastrophic?
Someone done something about it.
I'll say this a third time. Catastrophic consequences. Maybe.
Yeah, consequences have action.
What do you think? I mean, do you think nothing would happen then? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't think we could communicate that well to actually
organise it.
Even 2 billion. I don't even think we could communicate together. Fucking 5 people we couldn't communicate together. To be honest.
Well,
look at the state of the world. We're supposed to be all civilised. You know what I mean?
Oh, true. I think this is it. Actually, it kind of plays straight into kind of what we're talking about tonight, because we are having a bit of a shift in gear.
Yeah.
In terms of what the we've done a lot of aliens, a lot of kind of UFO stuff recently.
That's because I love it.
You love it, but also we like to talk about stuff that's going on in current affairs and stuff like how the world is at the moment. Yeah, we thought we might as well talk about, with the economy being so crap.
Yeah,
and the cost of living going up.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
Now somebody actually turned around to me the other day and said, "Oh, it's all right. The government can print some more money."
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they were like,
true.
"Oh, yeah, they can print some money."
Not good.
Yeah. But then I said I had to explain, like, that's kind of not where money comes from.
Yeah.
Money doesn't. They don't go up. Right? Boris Johnson, when he was in charge, because he's on holiday.
Well, yeah, that's it.
They were like,
caretakers.
Boris, can you stick the cannon on? Yeah, the printer.
Yeah.
We need to get some money in.
Yeah, we need to pay in these kind of notes. No, instead.
Well, actually, no, we borrow it.
Yeah.
So that begs the question: who actually holds the purse strings? Who is in charge?
Well,
who is the most powerful people in the world, and who actually calls the shots? Because if the government are going, "Can we borrow some money, please?" and they say no, then obviously then
then there'd be a bit of
who's really in charge there? Who's really in charge? Well, we're going to be looking into where banking actually came from, what the crack is there.
Yeah.
Well, it had to come from somewhere. Who's now in charge? Who are the most wealthiest people? Why is everything so expensive?
Well,
we'll try and cover all as much as we can.
We'll try and cover what we... Yeah, and we're not bankers.
Yeah, we're not bankers. In fact, I don't know really how much authority I actually have on the matter on money. It's like, I have a little, I wish I had a bit more. Please sign up to Patreon. Patreon, you can get free sort of levels, agent, special agent, and on top secret. Yeah, and it all helps out the show.
Wish we could give away money, but it's
that's true.
Money's a dodgy thing, but we need it.
Money,
and we all need it for trust as well.
Well,
there's a lot of trust.
It is a lot. There's a lot of trust.
It is.
And
so
we'll be getting into that in a bit later on in terms of why. Money is valued the way it is because, technically speaking, money isn't really worth anything. I mean, we all just agree it is, but we'll get into it.
Yes, we will.
Actually, come to think of it, you've had a pretty eventful week. I rang you yesterday, and all I could hear was barnyard animals going on.
Oh, yeah, you caught me in the yard again.
What you do? Where are you? He's like, I'm at some farming convention somewhere, looking at tractors.
Emily Show, it was called. I was securing
he was working there. He wasn't buying land machinery or anything like that, or livestock.
You know what? In fact, I wanted to find a farmer so I could actually have a word with him and say, what do you think what's going on around the world at the minute? You know, like land being taken and like you've got these new laws putting into, what's happening in Denmark and stuff like that.
Oh, right, okay.
But I never got a chance, to be honest. I was too busy.
I kind of find it weird because down south in England at the moment, there's like, fields are, dry and there's like like loads of problems with, the water. They've got no water in the same hose pipe bans and these droughts, basically,
It's coming up here as well.
Well, is it? Because that morning, I'm watching the news and it's telling us about hosepipe bans and all these droughts, and it was pissing it down here in Manchester. So
Well, yeah, it's true. But then I drove past the dams and I've never seen it that low, to be honest. And it'd be back in like a week or two.
Couple of months,
totally. Let the rain get in there and be sorted.
I mean, obviously, it's the idea of climate change and everybody kind of going on about that.
Yeah, all that waffle.
It is when it's breaking records and we're getting higher temperatures than we've ever had before. It makes you think, well, does this mean we're going to have a bad winter? Does it mean we're going to have a dry winter?
I think generally
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand how kind of people's minds work and
the way I've seen it is that's exactly what happens. If we have a good summer, we have a good winter. If we have a bad summer, we have a bad winter.
Well, what are we going to get this year? Because it's been a bit different this year, hasn't it? You don't know what to expect.
Floods.
I went over to Comic-Con Manchester.
Oh yes, you did. Yes,
this week, which was quite cool. But like they've changed the venue. To Bowlers Manchester, which is in Trafford Park, and it's a bit out of the way. And I kind of feel like the event in Manchester, they've kind of renamed it and put another event on called MegaCon, and it's weird because
trying to gain.
Yeah, I mean the old Manchester Comic Con, or the Manchester Comic Con, which has always been at the Manchester Central GMX, it all kind of brings that vibrancy to the city. There's a lot of people who dress up for it. Yeah. It's quite a spectacle. And it's great fun. Having it in the city centre has always been, an ideal spot for it.
Yeah, totally.
Moving it out to Trafford and putting it in a industrial estate, it kind of takes away the shine from it. The glamour away from it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's going to be back at its usual venue next year.
It's just a temporary move.
Maybe. I don't know if anyone knows and can tell us.
Well,
We'd love to hear from you. But overall, it was great. We took Jay. Jay's never been to a Comic-Con before, Jay and Jake, so they had fun.
They loved it.
Yeah, we was trying to spot budget versions of superheroes. You get, people who put effort in. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm never going to poo-poo anyone who makes effort and makes a costume or whatever.
Yeah.
But
did you try it yourself? Did you?
I wore, I wore my Stranger Things T-shirt, the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
And that I was about to say, in terms of wearing one item, that T-shirt was the star of this fucking show because everybody seemed to be wearing them, and I even had a guy come up and say, "Where'd you get your T-shirt from?" They're like gold dust.
Oh right.
So these Hellfire T-shirts, for some reason, are really hard to get hold
T-shirts,
of.
Making them. It's going like gold dust.
Oh, well, it's licensed, I'm assuming.
Well,
making them.
That's true.
But true. Like I said earlier, if anybody would like to jump on Patreon, we do have a Patreon account where we do kind of like we look to our listeners to help us fund future projects.
Yes.
So we do actually have
we have one coming up. pretty soon,
imminently coming up, which I think you'll all get a kick out of.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually, I'm
it goes the
looking
way I
forward
think
to it.
it's going to go. Yeah,
It maybe go one way or the other.
Yeah,
but you
wow,
never know.
yeah.
We'll be
entertainment.
doing announcements for that at some point soon. But if you join up on Patreon, you can join from a number of tiers, from agent, special agent, and beyond top secret. And hello. And that'll kind of, give you privy to certain bits and pieces on Patreon.
It will indeed.
And it also helps us out to better the show and take it further. So it's all for a good cause.
It is.
Also, we do have merch available. And thanks to the fantastic artist Ross Cookie, who designed our latest T-shirt, which you want to go and check out. It's pretty cool. It's I'm dressed like Han Solo.
You are, indeed.
You're like Picard, and we're getting beamed up.
Man. Yes.
It's pretty awesome. I've got to say,
definitely.
big
like
props to Ross for his design work. And if you want to check Ross's work out, you can go over to his Instagram.
And even better if you can buy something.
Go to our website, neverstraightanswer.co.uk, where it's all available.
It is indeed.
Yeah. So going forward, we're going to be talking money.
We are.
But,
money.
I like to kind of say, like there's a bit in the show where we're kind of part brought to you. We've got an association with, and this week we're in association with Audible.
Oh, Audible.
Audible. Yes. Get your Audible. Audible audiobooks.
Yes.
Yeah, right, are a great way of making, like, most of your time, because you can listen to an audiobook when you're commuting, when you're driving about, when you're
learning,
you're doing the housework. You can get an Audible free trial, and it's a great way for new customers to try audiobooks and make the most of every moment.
Certainly.
With their trial, customers will receive one free audiobook of their choice, theirs to keep, even if you cancel your subscription. Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks in their trial, and you're eligible to choose from a world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fis, romances, mysteries, classics, and more.
It's all beautiful.
It's all there for you. In fact, what I'd suggest is maybe try out this book, The Templars, Rise and the Spectacular Fall of the Gods' Holy Warriors, which is available in audiobook. And it's basically about the Templars' monetary system. Were the Knights Templars religious sort of like warriors, or were they bankers?
Wow, yeah.
Actually, we'll be talking a bit more about this, because obviously, this book was covered in a bit of the research, it might be worth checking out if you're interested.
Like what you hear.
That leads us pretty much into the show, into the topic. Money, it's one of those things that we all need it.
Yeah.
It makes the world go round, and if you don't play the game, and if you're not kind of on board for, contributing to society, to make some money, to buy the things you like, to, pay your bills, to live a comfortable life with no, jail time.
Well, it's getting harder.
You need to play the game, don't you?
That is it.
That's the idea, isn't it? You've got to play the game. And and these people who choose not to play the game, they think, I can't be arsed with money. They choose to live a life that's humble and modest, and they just don't want to kind of fall into that economic trap.
It's hard,
but it is really hard. I mean, it means that it's the difference between having a place to live and not having a place to live.
The security of it.
The security of life, right?
Yeah.
And you need a certain level of income coming in. For anything, just for food, for kind of, just survival, right? And I feel like even if you're a man on the street and you've chose to live, that sort of life of a traveling man, you want to mooch about and see the world, but you've got no fixed abode, and you don't buy into the monetary system, you're still going to need...
That's gorgeous. That's free,
That's
man.
the life,
free.
But you're still going to need some level of income or some level of way of making a bit of money just so you don't starve. Yeah,
it's true.
And this is the thing, is from that small... necessity. Money has become this.
Well, I think it's
root of everything. Really, it's like if you don't have it, then you can't have it. If you've got it, you want more of it, and if you've got more of it, you make more of it.
But I also think it was more of the business types than individuals to actually create it because it works for them on the premise that they've got a product that they're selling to you, but you're making that as well, but you're probably spending more money on the item that you're making that you're getting paid for. You know what I mean? So then you've got to go out and get some other... So it's that kind of dynamic that I think it was more the corporation, the more businessman changed.
So the 80s, the people of the 80s basically changed it. The greed.
Yeah.
So, basically, money's been around for a long, long time in terms of bartering and selling and swapping one thing for another.
Yeah.
The Mesopotamians, they had the shekel, which is probably one of the oldest known, of the first known form of currency that emerged over 5,000 years ago. The earliest known mint date on one of the shekels is 650 to 600 BC. But obviously...
That's like just over 4,500 years before nearly everyone was using that kind of system.
Well, yeah, because you'd think that if there's a society built up and you need to kind of say, well, I've got a load of this, I've got a load of corn,
I've got a load of
you've
shells.
got a load of something else that I need, you can barter to an extent, but there's also going to get to a point where, I've said this before, you've got your Tom Sawyer who comes over and says, can I paint your fence, mister? And he says, yeah, of course you can. You paint my fence, I'll give you a slap-up meal, right? And he goes, brilliant, but the next week when Tom Sawyer comes back to, do another deal, he's like, well, I'm sorry, son, but I don't need my fence painting anymore.
It's done.
Everything's done now. The job's done. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
And he's got to then go and find more employment or, to sustain that meal a day. You know what I mean? And it comes to a point where you don't have anything that I want, or you've got something that I need, but I don't have the anything to barter with. So
you've got to create something now.
A currency then comes into play, like an IOU.
That's right.
And essentially, this is what our whole banking system is made up of, IOUs, right?
Yeah,
so, thinking about that, I seen the Zeitgeist movie a fair few years ago now, and they said one fact that always stuck in my head was, if we were to turn around and say, recall every debt that the world owes now, and say, we're the banks, and we say we want all the money back now, we couldn't physically pay it because there's not enough money in circulation to cover the debt. So you had a look. What was the current world economic debt?
The current world economic debt now is an astounding 300 trillion.
Right, so 303 trillion in debt. That's what the world owes. To who?
To basically to the IMF, the World
Monetary Fund,
so they spread it back out and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So would it be surprised if that's
generally
a lot of money?
each other.
You'd think that's quite a lot of money to have in circulation in the world, wouldn't you? Like for 303 trillion dollars, whatever you want to cut it. But would you be surprised if I said that there's only ever 40 trillion in actual currency in circulation in the world? 40 trillion, right? That's not even what. So even if we took every penny back and paid some of the debt off,
we still
wouldn't have enough currency in the world to pay that debt.
Because like I've been saying for ever since the show started, that the actual debt at that time was 246 trillion, and it's just gone. I didn't actually realise how fast that debt's got up.
Yeah, but it's kind of grown quite quickly, hasn't it?
Massively.
And do you know a lot of it is down to the especially in the UK, we had the furlough scheme during the COVID. The debt. I think we borrowed. I think it was like 200 billion.
Total 450 billion.
Over that period, where the average borrow would only be around 20 maybe, if that, maybe 2.
But they get they get the better interest as well. They get like 1% interest. Well, we don't.
This is the thing,
have to pay like
and this
15,
leads us again
26.
nicely into it, because I mean, like, in terms of who we get money off, like the government again has to borrow that money, right? If they, I mean, technically speaking, they get an income based on what we pay in tax, right? So we pay our taxes, and that's their income generated, through the year. So
because we know we've got 34 billion coming up, but we haven't got it in our hands yet. We just know we've got something to spend.
That's taxpayer money, right? So that's taxpayer money. If they think, right, well, normally on an average year we spend 45 billion. Then they've got a deficit, and they'll go to the banks and say, can we borrow the excess?
That's right.
At a higher rate of interest, right? Or at a rate of interest, or do deals. Apparently they sell bonds as well, like which is selling it back to the public.
Or businesses. They like businesses to buy it.
And saying, basically, it's an investment opportunity. You say, if you give us some money, then we'll kind of, when we set...
At
some point, this bond will be worth a lot more in the future, potentially.
It's worth this now. In the future, it's going to be worth like 10 times as much.
And they used to do a lot of that sort of stuff in the war. They've done it with this green initiative that they're doing it. Yeah, they've seen an advert on it recently saying that if you wanted to put money in, invest in green green initiatives, then you can buy stamps. Like the old days, I buy green stamps. It's all, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't trust it for kind of.
I don't trust it either, to be honest.
It's like when you're doing your
government and green just doesn't
your
work.
Your granddad's old house, and he's like, I found all these stamps that were fuck all.
Useless now. Just a piece of paper.
Well, this is the thing as well, because obviously what money is and now is just pieces of paper with promise notes, right? Whereas back in the day with the shekels were silver and gold coins, right?
So kings used to they got the idea of like making these like coinage, and then after a little while, with taxes going up and not a lot of them paying, they decided to actually take a little bit and put it 90% gold and like a little bit of copper. And like today's money, if you check it out, it's something like 2% gold. I don't even think there's gold in it now.
Any gold in it. It's all alloy, isn't it? I mean, and this is the thing, because like we were talking about how much, say, a 50 pence is worth. Money's only worth intrinsically what everyone agrees it's worth, but we only agree it's worth it because the fucking the mints tell us that it's worth
that's what it's worth,
right? So a 50 pence.
Printed on it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you could get a 50 pence, which is pre-certain date, which has more silver content. Which means it's worth actually in metal content more than the 50 pence,
especially now
as it is, right? So, the idea that money is actually worth more and less based on what it's made of. But obviously, no matter if you're dealing in seashells, metal coins, pieces of paper, or whatever, or internet data, it's all kind of really it's all metaphysical currency. It's not real because there's no actual value attached to it, only the value that we all agree it is.
Like there's like trillions moved every day, but the only thing is like there's
but back in the day we'd attach a value to stuff like physical gold, silver, platinum, anything that was actually worth money, right? Whereas in today's society we attach value to promises. Like, we don't actually have any... The money that we've kind of got in circulation isn't kind of backed up by gold or anything like that, as far as I know, anymore.
No, it's not.
Especially crypto.
Yeah, it's not backed up by gold anymore. Actually, President Trump tried to bring it in before he lost his election, and it's kind of the thing of... They had a lot of gold ending up in these banks and given promise notes. So then the bankers are there thinking, look, we've got loads of money here. What can we do? We could make money with this money. And they basically overextend themselves, and they always do it. They always do the same process. We're taking the money and we're promised we've got it there, and then we're going to loan it to someone else or loan it to different areas, and we know we're going to get investment back. but it's going to take, you know, a little longer, and things go wrong as well, so they lose that money. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people at a certain time, like what happened with BlackRock, is people wanted the money, but they had no money in there, and the investment wouldn't come back in time, and then the bank ends up nearly going under if we didn't pay.
Well, yeah.
And it's all on the set as well that it's set that we cannot live a society without banks.
Well, that's what I was getting at earlier, because I mean, it's almost like that we're so kind of deep into this sort of system that there's no going back from it. I think unless you kind of, I mean, I had this idea in terms of like creating a new currency, a physical currency that is basically. I do apologise. My phone's just doing stuff. But I'm going to send me notifications down if I can. 1 second. Yeah, but basically it's what was I saying? Getting distracted. Money's basically needed for us to kind of thrive as a society and stuff like that. But if you kind of,
and it's only 3%.
Create a new currency and we all agree the value of it, then it kind of breaks us away from the banks. And I think like JFK had an idea of doing that sort of thing before he was assassinated, that he wanted to break away from the banks, start printing their own currency, like a new dollar.
Notes printed, I think it was.
There you go. And I mean, like, obviously that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. People are not going to be too happy about it, right? And I reckon if the UK government were to turn around and say the same thing and say, do you know what, we don't want your help anymore, Bank of England, we're going to be moving away from you guys, we're going to be creating our own currency, and phasing the sterling pound out.
Which is the longest currency in the world, and I'd say the strongest to last that long.
Well, potentially, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of kind of currencies that throughout Europe that obviously have been abandoned in favour of the euro. And I mean, this is what I was saying. I mean, if you brought out a new currency that was, it's worth, like you were saying there, you're calling it a quid, a pound, or a physical pound, a new pound coin that's just come out on the market, which is jingle and jangle in your pocket. Now, it might only be worth 18 pence
in your pocket
as a new currency. But the more people get behind it,
then,
like Bitcoin, then the value goes up on it, right? So eventually it would be worth a pound, or what the equivalent to a UK sterling pound or a dollar would be, or a euro. So once it's at that level, then you're actually a working currency, technically, So it's like, it's only what the demand and what people, many people believe in it, are willing to take it on.
And we all seem to do that.
And if it was a way of breaking away from traditional banking, then that might be a good idea. But I mean, again, it's not. It's not an overnight process. It's quite a slow process. But,
and that's what crypto's trying to do. That's one of the things they're trying to do.
Yeah, but again, with crypto, there's that danger
takes a long period
of it being all online. It's not physical. You've not got anything that you can take to, a market and pay cash.
You won't be able to go change that to cash after a certain
that's what I'm saying. So there's going to be a point where we're all online and it's all kind of a physical money experience, not a physical money experience, a virtual money experience rather than a physical money experience.
And it's going to happen.
And to be honest, I do believe that there's still a place for physical currency.
I do,
and it needs to be available to people.
For bartering and stuff.
For bartering and kind of like trading and having that freedom to be able to use currency without being tracked.
That's the thing for me as well with using the currency. Now you can be tracked on whatever you're spending, and you might be you might be a bit shy on buying certain items around the world. And it might be like,
totally. I mean,
you
will pop into some sort of I don't
know,
lingerie shop, or you buy yourself some sort of aid.
Exactly,
and you don't want to be seeing that on your bank statement.
Like a rabbit or two,
I totally get you. Totally feel
so
you there.
Like it's, I suppose in a way, then what are then people going to end up doing? You know what I mean? Is Cash works. It's always works. You know what I mean?
Well,
the
I
promise
understand
note,
that they
apart
kind
from
of-
the value of it, apart from the value that it's worth fuck all.
Promises.
Yeah, promises, and you read it and it says there's fuck all
Well,
you can swap it for.
Do you know where the idea of banking actually come from?
Go on.
The Knights Templar.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the Knights Templar
We
on
have.
various different reasons,
Yes,
and different
we have
conspiracy theories and ideas.
Yeah.
The Knights Templar, they've kind of been bandied around in quite a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff, but this is actually quite a savvy move on the part of the Knights Templar. When they were originally founded, the Knights of the Temple of Solomon were basically there to protect travellers, pilgrims, travelling to
Very obvious,
Jerusalem,
yeah.
right?
For a little payment, yeah.
So, they do the whole bodyguard bit, right? We'll protect you, we'll make sure nothing happens to you.
Technically, yeah.
Right? And they ended up becoming one of the most powerful military orders of the Crusades. But
Need
in
more,
addition, they were pretty savvy when it came to economics.
Yeah, that's true.
And what they've sussed out was that if they turn around to their clients and say, right, well, because more often than not, they were traveling with riches, gold, spices, all these types of different things, tradable objects.
Also they were given land, they were given money and stuff like this as well.
Totally, but I mean, but that put them in a bit of a kind of a position where if you were traveling with me, I'm a Knights Templar, and you've got a suitcase full of gold, and I turn around and go, listen, there's marauders out there, there's people out there who want to try and mug us, take our money, take your gold, right? I'm there to protect you, but there's still chances that we might get had over, right? So the safest bet for me to do, for a fee, is you leave this gold here in this town where we're starting off. Oh, no tricks, because you can speak to Jim, he's done it.
Oh, all right, Jim,
Jim will tell you.
Yeah, he said,
right?
watch you,
Jim
you're a
will
bit
fix
shifty.
it, right? So then he's gone. And when we get to Jerusalem, we'll stop off at our old stronghold there, and we'll get you the equivalent of the gold, plus take away my fee,
Okay.
And you'll get your gold when we get there, and it's almost like a banking system. They were basically saying that if you store your gold with us, and we'll pay you your gold back later, like a bit like a promise.
You can run without all this behind you.
Now they might have given some sort of paperwork,
I should imagine so. There has to be some kind of promise
a scroll,
maybe even a coin.
I promise to pay the bearer.
They might even add a coin that beared certain value on it.
So they basically organised, a banking system. They were banking pioneers, and during the 12th and 13th century, that's basically what they did. The Templars obviously increased their fortune by doing this,
they did.
Putting them into the position where they, in a lot of people's imagination, a lot of people believe that they are the founders of the banks. That we currently use. I mean, it seems...
Well,
it's a crazy sort of idea, but I mean, makes me think though, because like I was talking to you about the rich list, the 10 most rich people in the world.
Well, do you?
And there's quite a few people that you recognise on there, but you'd think that if these people are owned by own banks and own like large chunks of money, this top 1%, then or higher.
Well,
half a percenters,
I think
then they'd appear in this rich list, but they don't seem to for some reason.
Oh yeah, because it's afraid to say. Well, we used to have a good line of who to blame, and they were blamed for a long time. The Rothschilds, so and the Rockefellers and all that.
The Rockefellers,
they were all like basically stalked for years over. You've been doing this, you've been doing that, and like follow the line back to the first banking system, and basically their valuation now, because I've said in a previous episode that with the banks their valuation is 15 trillion, but their valuation of even the individual ones is like 4 billion. And it's like, hold on, where's it? Like, I know they've got a big family.
Yeah, but like, I understand
their valuation and power is gone now
over
to what they
commodities and what they own and what they've got in the bank, plus what their business interests are. Yeah. So when you've got
Business
people
moves.
like, I mean, I'll give you the top 5 of this year's rich list, and it's people you'd reckon you know the names.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So with 5, you got Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
right, who's
Yeah.
an
Always
estimated
listen
net
to that
worth
one.
of 118 billion.
Yeah. He's
Then
the best
above
investor.
him, which was for a long time the richest man,
He was.
Bill Gates, 129 billion.
Yeah.
Then you've got
too
the
much farms.
Bernard Arnault family,
Right.
which are worth 158 billion.
Oh.
And then the 2 most popular,
I think we
names
can
I
all
think we can all guess is
guess.
Jeff Bezos with
Yeah.
171 billion net worth,
Big
and
rocket.
Elon Musk at number 1
Yes.
with 219 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
okay, we all know who Elon Musk is, but you telling me he's legitimately the richest man on earth?
Well, he keeps
Because
switching.
I believe that there's obviously got to be people who are richer than him. Who are the bank owners? Who are these people who own the banks? They're not showing up in the Forbes rich list.
Yeah, they haven't. One of them did. One of them come into the Forbes list, and that's it. The rest of them haven't, because they've got from like 1 billion to like I said, 4 billion, 5 billion. No, I think the richest one out of them is a young lad who's out there doing stuff. He's
Well,
10
maybe
billion.
it's down to, well, if
That's
Elon
it.
Musk is legitimately the richest man in the world, then he needs to do something about the monetary system in terms of how it's distributed amongst the world.
Well, we
You know
can't
what I
have a
mean?
look in Canary Islands, and
That world debt,
yeah.
that needs scrapping. For a
Yeah,
start,
but-
it's like, look, right, when there's not even enough money in the world to cover the debt,
Yeah, we would never
then
cover
you
it.
need to just fucking write it off.
You
Yeah,
can't-
it's
yeah.
like we're at a
We're
point
going
now where
bankrupt.
it's like we've bankrupt.
The world goes
It's like
bankrupt.
we put a big fucking foreclosure sign up on top of the moon.
Then that'd be that's something like the World Economic Forum want. You know what I mean? Because it's
Well,
for one, it's going to
that's kind of a good idea, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
but
not
it's
saying- I'm not
chaos.
backing
It's gonna
up-
be chaos.
Obviously, a bit of chaos,
A
but
bit.
a bit of chaos
Yeah.
if it's going to lead to a future that everybody's kind of fed and got a house to live in.
well, yeah, totally. But
I mean,
it's the valuation. The valuation needs to come down on certain products, and every
the
country
problem is the people
has
will
to
argue.
value
They'll
it.
go, "Oh, well, you can have that, but you're losing your freedoms." And fair, yeah, right. I get that. Yeah, right. I totally understand what you're saying there. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But it's a case of, in terms of a balance, right? Yeah, you need some sort of order in order for everybody to live in peace, right? Yeah, you can't have everybody just doing what they want, because if everybody did what you want, that's when you get chaos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of
So
course.
there needs to be some sort of order
Balance, yeah,
within
and
the
that's where the
chaos,
police
and
are supposed
and
to
a
be there.
balance there, yeah, right. But the police aren't fucking doing much. I just see
Well,
the
yeah.
police as stormtroopers there
Exactly.
to
They-
protect,
yeah.
not us. They're there to protect the fucking the empire,
governments, yeah.
right.
Companies,
Like they're not
that's
there to protect me. And as soon as a boots is under threat,
Yeah.
they're all there battering with the fucking
Yeah.
riot gear on, trying to stop
Exactly.
people from getting in.
Yeah.
They're not going.
But people
hey,
getting
boo,"
murdered and
you
shit,
know,
they're like,
other
"Oh,
pharmacies,
got other
other
priorities."
places are available.
Yes, I got other. They're just like you said, the stormtroopers at the minute.
Yeah, there to protect the empire,
Yeah.
right? And
Fancy that.
we're the rebels.
Third right.
Watch Star Wars, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so moving on with the topic. So have you got anything else you want to add to the monetary? I mean, because, like, it is a big topic.
Well, yeah, I think I found something that I've been saying for a long time, and like I may have it wrong. So this is a
Pardon me? So, yeah,
Yes.
retraction.
Yes.
Go on.
Which is, you remember when I kept saying about Napoleon when in 1812 when we were having a fight with him and like they were losing.
We.
One of the Rothschilds went like back to England and said like we're gonna lose the war, which he knew that we weren't, and got loads of people to basically sell their land and all their shares and stuff like that, and it ended up being that they owned 96% of England. It worked out. Well, it may be actually false, and the reason why the claims are coming in that it's possibly false because the guy who was supposed to, the Rothschild who was supposed to have rolled back to England and stated all this, wasn't nowhere near there, according to some new documents. So it's like,
okay.
all right, so it may be a false accusation.
There you go. Well, at least you can't say we're not for it there.
Yeah.
Coming back and correcting our
we
mistakes.
just want to try and give the truth as much as possible of and what we feel about what's going on.
Funny you should actually bring something up, because I've just found out a little bit of information about something you said earlier, right?
Okay.
About the oldest currency in use.
Yeah.
Is the British pound, which has been in use for 1,200 years. Which makes it the oldest currency in the world, dating back to Anglo-Saxon times.
Yeah, and we don't want to lose that. It's 1,200 years of history.
Although the pound underwent many changes before it's come to the pound we know today.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be pound note at one point.
Somebody said to me the other day, they said, you're old enough to remember halfpence, aren't you? And I went, get to fuck, you taking the piss. I said, I don't remember halfpence.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, fuck, that makes me feel old, that.
It was probably
I used to have jars of him.
I mean, it'll probably be about 1986, about 1987 by the time I actually started getting my own currency. Like spends.
That just makes me feel old now. Oh,
it's
shit.
like fucking hell, a 2p. If I remember, 2p's. I remember halfpences, but I don't remember having them.
Yeah, my great gran used to save loads of them for us, and we used to.
I'm aware of them, is what I should say.
Yeah, because I think in the early 90s, I had a shitload of them, thinking, I'll get rid of these now. They're worth fuck all. I think.
Do you know what? There was probably so much copper in there that they'd be worth a lot more in copper.
You know what?
Now. And there's a lot of people who do that. Do you know when they get the change jars?
Yeah.
If you get a magnet
smell
to
it, boom, done.
And find out what's copper and what's not, they can sell it and get more in weight of copper than they do from the coin star or whatever they go to.
That is true.
But British pound though.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What do you make of when they introduced the £2 coin? Because that was a relatively new one, wasn't it? The £2 coin. I think it's wildly popular.
I do, but I kind of don't like it as well. Because I kind of don't like losing certain traditions. You know what I mean? And it's just like tearing down the wallpaper until you got a blank canvas, but you're adding something else in there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like we have a lot of history in this country, and everyone else does in their own countries. But it does start tearing apart and then going because new technology or new things have come in, and it's like, you know what, you may need that stuff when when we go back to the electric ain't working for some reason, we run out of gas.
Do you know, going back to the Knights Templar?
Yeah.
Right, you've just made me think of something, right? Yeah, so do you know, if they're kind of doing these, we'll store your gold, or we'll kind of give you some more gold later on.
Yeah.
It wasn't just gold, it was obviously going to be treasures, documents, anything of importance.
Yeah.
Do you think this is why the Knights Templar are kind of attributed to having all these religious artifacts in terms of the menorah and the Ark of the Covenant and all this stuff? Because if you think about what banks do, is they take objects and they'll say collateral, and because they didn't just do kind of this thing, they would do loans as well, right? So if you were kind of a guy who just had a candlestick or something of value, but you might be able to secure that as a loan for actual currency. And when they foreclosed on it or never paid the loan off, they just took the artifacts, and that's how they ended up with so many.
That's where debt started.
Well, obviously, I mean, obviously a byproduct of capitalism of monetary systems,
and
is
it costs
debt,
to just make
because
something as well.
Up until that point, there was no debt. Nobody was in debt.
No.
I mean, it was personal debt if you owed somebody a fish.
Yeah. I promised to do your fence, but I didn't. I'll do it next week.
Yeah, something like that. Then that's personal debt. But I mean, in terms of
cash debt.
Cash debt, or not even cash debt.
I mean, but cash debt is created.
Credit debt.
Yeah, and it is deliberately created to flow money around. That's what it's there for, and to make the big banks.
Because said earlier about how much money's actually in the system. There's 40 trillion in the system at any given one time. And I looked back on previous years to see how many, whether it changed over COVID. Was there more money in currency physically in the system?
Yeah,
it was always 40 trillion, right? So going back about 5 years, it's always bbeen 40 trillion, and that is physical currency worldwide, right?
And that shows as well that the money that is created, President Biden did 70% of their currency in the beginning of his term, and 350 trillion.
Yeah.
3.5 trillion, I think it was. I can't remember.
But what I'm getting at is, there's only ever 40 trillion of actual currency doing the circulations.
Yeah, and that shows that it goes straight to the business.
The debt's 303 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means there's 260 trillion of just credit.
Yeah.
Credit debt of numbers floating around a system that says, is he eligible to get in more debt?
Yeah.
Can we afford to give him more debt? What's he like at paying his debts off? Oh, fuck it, we'll give it him anyway. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll send him a letter.
That's why the housing market burst, because they knew they had like Z-class buildings, but they were putting it under like A-class, so they could up the price for it.
It's all about postcodes.
It's
not about how much the building's worth as a building. It's about what the building's worth in that area.
Yeah.
So if I could have a building which is a top quality build, it's done to high specs, but it's in a not so desirable area.
Yeah.
The price of that ultimately goes down because of the area. It's nothing to do with the building itself. But then you could have a run-down building, not half as good as this one.
Yeah.
But falls in a rich area, and suddenly you're paying through the nose for it because it's in a desirable area. And people are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
So again, it's all comes down to value is what we all agree is what it's worth.
We agreed to pass each other the coins.
So, theory, if we all agreed that things were worth less, then they'd have no choice but to kind of move in that direction, because as a group, as a society, we agree that houses aren't worth that much.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally.
If we all refuse to pay the price, then obviously the bubble bursts, right? And then housing should become more affordable for a lot more people.
Well, it depends, because we've still got the thing of we need to build more.
Idea, surely that should apply to everything else as well. But, I mean, again, it's not us controlling the economy. It's not us controlling the financial. It's fucking Richie Sunak.
Yeah. It's them dickheads who are not planning ahead. They're not planning. They're going, we're putting this in.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I'm not bigging him up or anything, but, right, he's been doing the budget for a while now, and he's turned around and said, well, the money's not there yet, so we can't do nothing. Right? And this was even under Boris, right? Yeah, he knows what the actual situation is, right? So going into that sort of, can I be the Prime Minister, please, like, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He always knew
golden brown.
that he had to go, well, we're still in the same economic situation we was 5 minutes ago. Yeah, we still haven't got any money.
Yeah. Well, we know we've got 34 trillion.
You've said this again, but that sounds like somebody who's waiting to be paid.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I've got 34 billion. Yeah, it's coming. I haven't got it yet. It's not in the bank, but it is coming. I'm going to ring them and chase it up.
The
tomorrow,
tax accounts have added up to 34 billion that they're going to end up getting roughly. Yet he started with, I think, 4 billion. He had when we was having a bit of a crisis, he had 4 billion in the side, which we were going to use for certain things that were going to be coming up. But then the crisis hit, and then it was like, let's fuck up the economy, and then we can throw more power at him and get as much money as we can. And when interest rates go up, debt is cheaper. So now they can get rid of quite a bit of their debt, and then bring it back up. It happens time after time and time. We know it's going to happen again, and it's going to happen again and again. But the problem with this one is we didn't have, after the 2008 financial crash, we only kept it in hospital for a little while. We've still got that to deal with.
Inflation in the UK is expected to peak at 13.3% in October, the highest since September 1980.
Yeah,
that's like more than my lifetime. Yeah, right. And we'll still close at 10% in a year's time. So that basically means that we're heading for recession. Essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
You know, we were kind of expecting
Although we have had a little peak up. We have had a little peak up. So, you know, we if we're very lucky, we might not get into a recession, but in Europe, we're the first ones who are going to get it.
Yay! We've had recessions before. We can beat them again. Fuck them.
We're always first at these kind of things, you know.
I know, yeah. We're up. Wait, come on. Stay ever optimistic, Britain.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world.
We could pull
Do you know,
through
we're
it,
talking about currencies, crazy currencies.
Yeah.
I love the Canadians, because we were saying about the £2 coin here. They have the tuna.
The tuna.
The tuna, which is a two Canadian dollar coin, I think.
Ah, see, so that's probably where...
Can any of our Canadian listeners send us a tuna? I want to see it. I want a tuna.
Yeah. I haven't seen a tuna.
I love Canada.
I've got
so nice.
I
so
haven't
good.
seen the tuna.
It's like the last frontier.
Yeah.
One of.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we've got to move on, I think.
Yeah.
We've had if we've missed anything out, we've tried to cover as much as we can. It is a vast topic.
Yeah.
But essentially,
people
who still think that we don't borrow money from banks as a country, and other countries do the same thing. They don't have their own printing press in the back garden, in the shed. Yeah. They don't pop down and print a load of fucking Queen's heads on bits of paper.
And a lot of it's got to be contracted as well. So if I borrow this money, you're going to do this for me. And
I am shocked at the British education system for not teaching people fucking economics in this respect.
But they are starting to do it now.
They might do now, but my sort of generation...
Yeah,
right?
We never got taught
economics and this is what I'm saying, because I've had a few people of my age group turn around and not actually understand how the economics of the country works.
And you'd have to think that
fucking far beyond, anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
there's loads of different laws and that with it as well.
Well, if you've got any comments about tonight's episode or you'd like to get in touch for any reason, you know what to do. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com or go to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk and go to the contact page. We're always available for a chinwag, so send us a message. It's all good. Money's money, man. We need some money. Get on Patreon. Get on Patreon.
Well, it might be gone soon. You know what I mean?
Patreon? we might be.
No.
We might be. No. What are you talking about?
No, money.
Oh, money.
Anyway, hopefully not, but
if you've got some money and you'd like to sign up to Patreon, you know what to do. Go over to the website. There's a link in there somewhere on the support page, I do believe. Anyway, moving on. We've got some news. I could pimp our asses out all night. Get on Patreon. But we've got more pressing things to be getting on with, and here's this week's news. It's the news! And as always, we've scoured the World Wide Web to find you the best and most exciting, freshest news around. And this week's no disappointment.
Oh, you're not wrong there.
I found loads of crazy. There's a lot of people doing some wacky shit this week.
A lot of nutters out there.
There is a lot of nutters. I found this guy. I'll kick off with this, because I've got two stories that kind of linked a bit.
Oh, nice.
So this is a man who's been jailed for stealing an excavator.
Right.
From a construction site in Salt Lake City.
Oh, nice.
And he started drove about a mile.
Oh, shit.
Before deciding to dig up a car park at a local grocery store, according to the police. So witnesses saw him digging up the bit of land and called 911 around noon on the Saturday, reporting that the man was randomly digging up the bits of grass strips on the sidewalk outside Smith's at about 8:28.
What the fuck?
It's fucking random.
Oh, fuck. Oh, he's got a big bank balance.
Oh, God, man. Well, what was he doing? I just don't understand why people just go, do you know, they get that urge to do something stupid?
He probably has an excuse.
Here's another one, because, again, stealing stupid modes of transportation seems to be a theme this week. A Florida woman has been arrested for stealing and driving a golf cart on the highway whilst drunk.
Oh, shit. Fucking hell.
Well, you can kind of see why she was doing it. But a woman...
You can see why she was doing it?
Well, yeah, because she was pissed.
Well, yeah.
What was the guy who stole the excavators?
He might have been pissed, stoned out of his nut.
Well, this woman, she had an open bottle of Jack Daniels. Yeah, so she was blatantly pissed up.
Drinking and driving.
In a bag. So she was obeying the kind of keeping it under wraps laws. But she was arrested for driving a golf cart on a Florida's busiest interstate.
Oh, shit. Did she have driving license, registration?
She definitely didn't. She was a 58-year-old woman She was arrested and
Send
she's
her to jail.
facing misdemeanor charges and disorderly intoxication.
Oh no!
In a public place.
Yeah, I suppose it could be on like about 12 charges they could possibly give her on that one. So
she was resisting the officer, but without violence. So she was just running away, giggling probably.
Yeah, going, chase me.
Catch me. But yeah, if you do see kind of like, you know, a parade float or a milk wagon or, you know, anything like that, you know, golf buggy.
Yeah.
Go-kart. Just unless you've got permission and you're doing it properly. Don't go robbing stupid, you know. Stupid vehicles or vehicles.
Find a golf course to do it on.
Yeah, do it on a designated track.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Not definitely. On the motorway. We had one earlier, didn't we? Some van had broke down in the middle of the middle of the road, and people are beeping like, "Get move!" And it's like, he's broke down, man. Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah. Well, he
ain't going nowhere.
Now, this is why you should make sure your lights are okay, because he put his hazard lights on, but only the indicator for the right-hand side was indicating.
Yeah, so everyone thought he was going to indicate, and no, he broke down. Yeah. And he was actually had his hazards on, but he didn't really.
Yeah.
No. Well.
He wish he fixed his indicator now, I should imagine.
Well, have you got anything you want to talk about in the news? Obviously, don't drink and drive, kids.
Yeah, do not. We may be under a threat.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, by the UN.
What is it now? Oh, the UN again.
The UN.
What are they going to do if they got like BB guns? They're going to come in and shoot us all in the face.
They've set up a new agency and took the money from what they were giving like kids and stuff like that for helping build up. Yeah, seriously.
It's like, wait a minute, we're giving these kids way too much money. Can't we open an agency that funds?
Because they're saying it's a threat. It's one of the worst threats going on at the minute.
Giving money to kids.
well, no, conspiracy theories. But the thing is, we're finding if they check their facts right, majority of conspiracy theories turn into conspiracy facts.
Well, a lot of them. I mean, look, right. I mean, I've been doing this so long now that, like, you know, I feel like I know a bit about it, and I do feel like there's a lot of conspiracies that use the same principles. They've all kind of latch onto the similar sort of tropes of conspiracy theories, and they try and jam-pack a load of these tropes into one conspiracy theory to make it sound as plausible as possible. Maybe get a bit of history in there, show a bit of evidence, right? And I'll be honest, there's only a percentage of them that I would say, I mean, I'll be honest, there have been conspiracy theories that have gone into conspiracy facts, but conspiracy theories that are still theories, there's more hoaxes out there than there is actual theories that are legit, and that's the right information. I'd say you're not wrong. Conspiracy theories sometimes do become conspiracy facts, but I wouldn't say a vast majority of them.
I agree with you on that one. To be honest, I mean, there is a lot of hoaxes.
It's nice when one does come out as true. You know, when you find that document or whatever that's come out and it does prove it, then that's amazing. But I wish more of them were true. But I do. But it's like the Knights Templar we were talking about, and I'm sorry to speak over you, but the Knights Templar crop up in so many different conspiracy theories, for different things, and I mean, it can't be all true. So it's about choosing your battles. In that respect,
you're totally right on that one, and like it's one of them things of like that I'm finding that, you know, the more conspiracy theories over, like, let's say the last 20 years, not the last like a couple of centuries, but like 20 years.
Is that not because of more media?
We're finding that a lot of them are more coming out more truth. It's just when the people are dead and buried, or they can't be touched, then the truth starts to come out.
There's stuff that we'll never find out about. We were talking about like the 60s earlier on in the evening, and how stuff happened in the 60s. But again, when the connection of media wasn't strong or existent at all back then, then it was easy for things to be kept secret. Whereas in today's society, we're able to kind of convey information so fast that anyone with a phone who's a witness, it's on the web and it goes viral. Potentially anybody can, if you're going to be trying to be secret, you need to be super, super, super secret because, and that's very hard today. So, in terms of
what they want.
Conspiracy theories that have turned fact in modern day, there's probably more that have come out there because information's more widely available and spreads quickly. Whereas back then, it was kept under the wraps and then kept vaulted.
Totally.
And even if there was a witness, then chances of him coming forward with chance of him having a camera on him.
And
it's like all these variables that you've got to put into place before you can go, well, there's nobody knows anything. And we've kept it a secret until that information's now free to the public. But then, which has happened with stuff like MK Ultra and stuff like that. But again, I think nowadays it's like we talked about the Ukrainian war and how it was the most televised war ever. And we were getting videos, fucking Snapchats, TikTok videos. The lot, everywhere. And it was so graphic that it was like I feel like they did pull a rein on it and try and kind of not show as much.
Yeah, I agree. They should pull. They should do certain things, but then when it violates your rights to put something on there, then it becomes.
Oh yeah,
argument.
I mean, I'm not talking like the freedom of speech. It's not saying that you can't put it up. It's just saying that it's
more
like
that you have no freedom of speech now.
It's we can see what's going on, but in the old in previous wars gone by, then we've seen. We just hear about the atrocities that happen. We don't have to witness them firsthand, and that seems to be what's happening in modern wars. We see it unfold on the news. So. In real
kids
life,
and that can get older.
Do you know what I mean?
Footage,
so it is.
So it can psychologically damage them.
Well, that's what
well.
I'm saying. So is it? Did they do that? Did they pull back on that and try not to show as much of that sort of stuff just in for those reasons? They have a moral obligation to do that. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
They should do.
I found this story.
Oh yeah.
Catholic exorcisms are on the rise apparently, and they say they're overloaded with possessions.
Shit.
Possessed people.
Hey man, there's a lot of place.
This is apparently a real thing, but basically
a bit psychological as possible.
So do you know when you get burnout in any profession?
Yeah.
These are saying we're getting burnout, mate. It's like Catholic exorcists who are saying they're feeling overworked and under-supported.
Go work in hospital for half hour.
I've had to do 15 exorcisms today, right? I've not even had a lunch break. Yeah, right.
You'll never be a librarian saying that.
Mate, at the end of the day, mate, how many people are you exercising on a daily basis? I want to hear this guy come on my show. Come on the show. We want to hear from you. A survey of 120 Italian exorcists. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it?
It does.
120 Italian exorcists walked into a pub. So, these are all guys hired by the Vatican. The Vatican approved.
Oh.
Yeah, from the University of Rome. And they're found to be overworked and tired, underpaid, and by the growing number of possessed people that they're being sent. So,
see, I bet they'd rush if it was a young little boy.
Well,
I bet they'd be in there like fucking shit on.
When there's a possessed little boy here, it's like when 15 priests turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Right, leave us alone. Shut the door.
We can't. You can say what you want. It's freedom of speech. So but there's like apparently there was 290 exorcists in Italy last year.
Fucking hell.
So, I mean,
well,
that's still quite an easy year, really.
What the fuck?
It's like these people who actually work hard for a living. It's like you just fucking come in and throw a bit of fucking sage and say,
fucking hell.
The power of Christ compels you.
They're not used to it, are they? You know what I mean?
They've just not got a good work ethic.
Well, yeah. I'm usually sat down having a cup of tea, talking to someone, having a biscuit.
Reading my Bible.
Yeah, but now I've got to go off somewhere else, like read a load of this nonsense and like.
It's funny though, because I do actually have a really good book, right, about exorcisms. And it's a book that they hand out to priests as a sort of training book.
What,
so
have you got something to say?
Well, I mean, it's pretty
You're a
interesting.
priest, are you?
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm ordained on the internet somehow.
Fake
I
one,
did
right.
that ages ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was like the Church of something or other.
Yeah, God be with you.
But yeah, I'm a reverend.
Yeah, you're Reverend, are you?
Yep.
See?
Real reverend. I can marry you. Don't make me. I'll marry you to someone really random and you won't like it. Codders. Anyway, have you got any more? Oh, wait, no, I've got another. Well, talking about, religion, church and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, these guys are saying, like, exorcisms are on the rise.
Yeah.
But, do you know if you die,
Yeah.
these, people,
Not yet, but I imagine, yeah.
Well, people want to get buried in different ways, I suppose, don't they?
Well, yeah, there has been some funny burials.
Well, yeah. This one I found was pretty cool because you can now get yourself buried as in a Ghostbusters coffin.
Oh, my days.
Right? So you can have a coffin which is themed to be inspired by Ecto-1.
Oh, right, yeah, the vehicle.
Yeah. It actually looks really cool. I'm going to try and post an image on it. But, yeah, it's basically...
some oxygen masks in there.
There's one available on eBay right now.
One?
Yep, and it comes complete with a proton pack and ghost trap.
Is it working?
Made by Nashville Casket Sales. The listing states that the casket was made last year to help with the theatrical release of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
All right, okay.
But it's available to buy on eBay.
Oh, how much?
So why
Cheap.
not? I'll have a look. Do you want to see if it's still available?
£10 I'll put bidding. Yeah, £10, I reckon.
Let's have a look.
That'd do me. I need a coffin. I haven't made my own yet. I wonder if we're going to have to do that in the future. Make our own.
Oh, yep. It's on there for $5,000.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, my tenner's run out.
But there's 100 people watching it right now, and if you were interested, it is available.
6,000.
Well, no, it's $5,000, but
it'll be 6,000 by the time this gets out.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, yeah, because we're so popular like that. Alternatively, yeah, there's this woman, a grandma. She's basically her dying wish.
Oh yeah.
Was to have a giant penis. As a gravestone.
Yeah. That's
this is
a funny walking
story of ice. And yeah, man, she's literally had it. She's got
cock and balls and everything.
Before her death, 99-year-old Katrina had one final wish of a giant cock statue on top of her grave.
On top of her head. If you think about it.
The family have now unveiled the monument. Which is a 5.5 foot tall cock and balls weighing in at nearly 600 pounds.
Oh, don't tell me they painted it as a cock and balls.
It's pink. Yeah, it's a big cock and balls, man.
It's got the vein.
Yeah, it's got a vein. It's got the whole. It's a whole kit and caboodle. So yeah, it stands at 5.5 feet tall with cock and balls weighing in at 600 pounds, mounted at the on her tombstone at the cemetery in Mexico. And that went in last weekend.
Oh, shit. She didn't have any writing put on there, was it? And
they say that it's basically, a recognition of her joy for life.
Fair enough, yeah. Cock and balls.
She just loved a bit of cock. Granny loved the cock.
The limit. I think she showed her hand.
It's a 5 foot cock and balls, man. Anyway, good on you, Granny.
Yeah, good on you. Well, if you're in England and you have a driving licence, it looks like they may be changing the rules so you can become a wagon driver without going through any kind of testing.
So what, if you've got a licence, you can drive anything?
Yeah, you can. Basically. Yeah, basically what they're thinking of bringing out. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think I could drive a wagon or two. You know what I mean? But I think it'd be on the basis of, maybe a week or two course on, big lorries. Making sure that, because there's a difference. You know what I mean? From the short little cabin to,
do you know what? The only thing I can see
load.
being as a positive on this is that CBs will make a comeback and there'll be loads of people in wagons going, 10-4, rubber duck.
Yeah, that is
we got
true.
A smoky on our tail.
But I could see loads and loads and possibly loads of accidents.
Why? Because people don't know how to drive lorries.
No, well,
It's
people
like,
can't-
I can drive a lorry.
People don't know how to drive fucking cars or bikes, so
People
you're
don't
going
know
to
how
put fucking
people
lorry
don't
in
know
there.
how to walk down the street anymore,
it's true.
man. Honestly, the amount
About
of
looking
people
at
I
the phone,
see
like,
with just
well,
looking at the phone and not
yeah.
watching where they're going. And I'm a cyclist, yeah, and I will run you over. But the being is,
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch for you as well as me. I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep, cautious of what you're doing
Yeah.
as well as what I'm doing. And it'd make my life a lot easier if you looked up once in a while instead of just going, duh.
Well, I'm a driver, and
Have I got a Tinder swipe?
it'd make it more easier if I get paid for everyone I knock down.
Well, like in GTA.
Yeah. Hey, 10 points. Nice. So I got a tenner coming, and that. Then they maybe
Kick granny to curb, 100
look-
points.
they might look left and right and go, "Oh right, yeah," you know what I mean. Concentrate on what you're doing, not just walk into the nearest bar and fall
Fair
over.
enough. So yeah, well, truck drivers. I'm going to be a bit more cautious of them now.
I think I am, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got
especially if they do it.
another paranormally eerie case. Another story here, which is. We've done a story of. Have we done Salem's lot? The Salem witch trials. I'm pretty sure we have a while ago.
Yeah.
Probably
I think
one
it was
of
all
our.
on witches.
I think it was one of our first episodes. The last Salem witch, to be persecuted for being a witch, I suppose.
Yeah.
She's been exonerated.
You're fucking joking.
No,
Bit late, innit?
thanks to an 8th grade teacher and her students. So they've obviously been doing some sort of
investigation.
some sort of research on the Salem witch trials, and came up with that one of the witches convicted, I think it was Elizabeth Johnson Jr., a woman convicted of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials in the 1690s, was finally exonerated last week after a Massachusetts teacher and her 8th grade civic students came up with a defence and basically proved that she wasn't a witch after all. Yeah, but 330 odd years ago.
Yeah, it's. I think it's good on the history that it's been told correctly.
Yeah, and they've
Bit
actually
too
done
late,
the
like.
research, and no, they found out something, and that's really impressive that they've done such a thorough job that they've been able to kind of exonerate this woman for probably a really grisly death.
Yeah.
For something she was innocent of.
I
Do you
hope
know
they
what I
do
mean?
that for me, yeah.
it's well researched is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
but obviously, I mean, the idea that this is a mentality back then where it was like, she's a witch. Well, how do we know? We'll drown her, and if she floats, she's a witch.
She's not a witch. If she drowns, she is a witch.
Yeah, if she survives, she's a witch.
Yeah.
God
Don't forget to put them chains around her.
it baffles me. Like, and I'm like, what? Either way, she's dead.
Because the person with the rule book, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah,
I
true.
can go around and kill anyone I want in the name of the law.
Well, we were talking about the last witch in the UK, which was Helen Duncan, wasn't it? Who was the last witch convicted of witchcraft in the UK.
Yeah.
Don't know if she's related.
Might be.
She might be.
Yeah, she might have passed the powers on.
I do have some sort of psychic powers.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're saying you're a witch? Well, you won't be.
More
a
warlock. Yeah, more warlock than witch.
More trouble.
I don't ride a broom.
Yeah, you do.
I ride a Kawasaki. no, I'm not joking. I don't ride a puddle bike.
But you got a black cat.
Did you hear about this? There was apparently a drugs raid on a taco stand.
Oh, right.
This guy makes good tacos. It's like there's queues around the block, and then it's like, we've tasted them tacos. They're horrible.
Yeah.
And then they went, he's got to be up to summit. Basically,
He was?
found 4 kilos of cocaine
Oh, shit.
after raiding his cart.
Oh, shit. So, good disguise.
It is
Didn't work,
actually,
though.
isn't it? I mean, obviously,
So a hot dog and an ounce of whatever.
Basically, they had the law enforcement executed a search warrant for his taco stand.
Okay.
Basically, did a thorough search. I mean, it's a taco stand. There's only so many places you can hide anything.
That's
But
right.
the police recovered the drugs and the cash from his home, which was on Park Avenue, 600 block of Park Avenue. Yeah.
Oh.
So, So I mean, they must have found something on his car in order to get a warrant to search his house. But you know what I mean? It's a bit of a front, that, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
Hey, I want a taco.
Extra cash.
And then it's like, here's your taco and your cocaine.
Well, but the thing is, you got to remember, like, who started this shit, and it was mainly like the CIA. So you're saying so basically, government just brings it in. I don't know if they're still doing it, possibly.
CIA have got a lot to answer for, really.
You know what?
They
have
in terms of, like, it's like to finance projects.
Yeah.
They did a lot of shady shit.
Yeah, and probably still doing a lot of shady shit now. It's just a case that, like, they've got the like anonymity and stuff.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, but that's all. That's what it's all about. Having the protected by a government. They are a legitimate government agency, but it's what they get up to
that can't be written down or enforced apart from a group of senators who have to sit down and go, okay, or no, that's not all right. But you know what? Yeah, that'll be all right. You know what I mean? We won't say anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Have you got anything else you want to add?
No, I've just got science.
Oh, just science and NASA news coming up. Well, I've got a few stories here. I've still got a story here, though, about Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah.
It's got an iconic floating restaurant, right? Yeah, it's huge. It is really quite, like what you'd expect to see in Hong Kong, the architecture.
Yeah.
But it's a floating restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, it's upside down and trapped on a reef.
Why? What's going on?
Fuck knows, it's just gone over.
Fucking hell, someone's got some strength there.
Well, yeah, so basically it's closed its doors in 2022, but made headlines when it began to sink earlier this year, and now allegedly trapped upside down on a reef. So, yeah, they're still looking into the incident. The vessel has capsized and the keeled over after it's been trapped on the reef off Sanshire in Hanoi. Spelled Hainanan. Anyway, so as far as they know, they don't know what's gone on, and they can't be sure for how much longer the investigation will take place. But they're going to try and have to rewrite it, I suppose. I just thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, you said you had some NASA news. I've got a few stories, so crack on, son.
I have. Scientists are planning to search the ocean for an interstellar object that struck Earth.
When did it strike? Because I've got a similar story.
It struck in 2014 at the coast of Papua New Guinea.
And they're just getting round to it. They're like, didn't someone in Papua New Guinea? Should we
Government
have a look for
agencies,
that? When did it strike? About 16 years ago.
Well, I think it's some scientists that have looked at this and gone, you know what, we might have something here, because there's something going on with the magnetic. There's a magnetic pole or something, going on around there. So
okay,
they want to take some specimens and find out if it is because we've already been in 3 years. We've already been visited 3 times. You know what I mean? So it's one of them, we need to see what's coming towards us.
Okay,
what's out there as well.
It's funny, actually, because I've got this story, like I say, kind of similar. This is a metallic orb.
Oh, right.
That fell from the skies above Mexico, and no one knows what it is yet. Television local meteorologist reported it having an antenna. Yeah, said whatever it was having. It described it as having an antenna. Whilst there's some light-hearted speculation that it's alien in origin, but obviously it's gone quite viral on social media, because it's such a strange, smooth, solid object, and it landed in the trees in Mexico on the night of the 31st of July.
Oh, right. Have you got pictures or anything?
I'm not seeing any pictures of it, but
just eyewitnesses.
Eyewitnesses have said that they've described it as a smooth metallic object, potentially having an antenna.
I was thinking especially when you said antenna, I was thinking, could it have been a satellite? And a lot of the bits have come off and it's smoothed a little bit, but too smooth. It doesn't sound right,
baby. Well,
doesn't sound right. That's might be then.
Got this story about Earth.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the world is actually moving faster than it normally does.
Oh, yeah.
So on June the 29th, the National Physical Laboratory in England recorded the shortest day ever in history, 1.59 milliseconds less than a 24-hour day.
Yeah.
So the Earth's quickly spinning day is basically slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does that mean we get shorter days or longer days? Because that's saying that we got the shortest day. Yeah, but surely the more... Because I was reading something about the moon, and basically the moon's pulling away from us, which means that we get longer days.
Yeah.
So if the moon's pulling away, giving us longer days, and we're slowing down, giving us shorter days, that should just balance our back out at around about a 24-hour clock anyway, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's the amount of time. It's not that that long, because I believe 2023. It's going to be one of the days is going to be the longest day ever in the history of the planet.
Well, yeah, they're saying it's moving faster.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be the fastest day. Ever
sorry, I
in
said
the
slowing
universe.
down, but no, I do apologise. It's speeding up. But basically, they said it was a one-off fluke.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, the Earth's quick spin day earlier this summer isn't a one-off fluke either. So they're saying like it isn't. Well, is it a fluke?
No,
or is it
because
not a
couple of months ago it did exactly the same. It happened on like the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, and it was beating its own record all the time.
Well, this is the saying. 2020 boasted 28 of the world's shortest days on record since time began.
Yeah.
Since the atomic clock.
Yeah.
In the 1960s. So in 2021, it's been pretty much compared to be at the average. And 2022 records the shortest day ever recorded.
Yeah, and before that, I think it was in 2011. It was the shortest day.
Do you think that the government's, keeping an apocalypse from us? Is there going to be an apocalypse coming? Because there seems to be some. We think we've said this before, but basically, you've got the moon's fucking off. You've got we're spinning out of control. We're getting shorter days. We've got climate change. There's something going on. We've talked about like why is this need to get to space so quick?
Yeah, well, the solar system's changing as
with
well.
a deadline.
There seems to be issues with the solar system at the minute, but it's going to take a long time for it, to play out.
We need to get a man in.
Well, we do, but we can't find the man. He's disappeared.
He's disappeared. He's
yeah,
off
he left
the
his son, but
left his
they
tool
killed him.
bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, any more NASA news you want to talk about?
New James Webb photographs. Two just come out of two giant galaxies smashing into each other.
Cool,
beautiful sight, man.
It's awesome when you see these images from the James Webb Telescope. But and like I was saying though, because the Hubble's still doing stuff.
Yeah,
the Hubble captured some really interesting images of Jupiter recently, which you should go and check out. Talking of telescopes, though, top scientists have had to admit space telescope images were actually falsified. Yeah, so basically, with a lot of images were coming out about what the James Webb is doing and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And they're tweeting a lot of stuff out. Yeah, there's a lot of images getting tweeted out and putting out on social media.
Yeah, that's true.
But one sparks a bit of interest when basically what looked to be a planet captured by the James Webb Telescope was posted on social media, which turned out to actually be a slice of chorizo. Yeah, so I shown you the photo earlier. Yeah, so it was basically what you'd expect. I mean, I saw another one which was it was brilliant on a meme, which was a duck pond, but basically captured in like winter. So all the foliage was brown, and it was kind of the water, and it was in layers. And when you put it in a circle, it looks like Jupiter. Yeah, but then you can see the ducks on the pond as well. So there's been this spate of kind of people posting images and memes saying, here's new images of Jupiter, and on first glance it looks like Jupiter, but when you look closer, it's a duck pond. Do you know what I mean? And it's like these are supposed images from the James Webb, but basically a slice of chorizo has been posted on social media as new images from the James Webb, but from the official sites. So they've had to admit that it's not, and it is actually a slice of chorizo. Well done, lads.
Yeah. The moon is cheese.
And the moon is made of cheese.
Yeah. Have you seen they've asked an AI to build the universe in food form.
Oh, right, okay. And did he make the moon out of cheese?
No, it was actually weird, actually. It looked like a sandwich within a sandwich within a sandwich. It just had so many different kind of layers.
But that's
of
crazy
food.
that this AI's understanding of the universe would come up with that sort of structure.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, what do they get from that? I mean, have they kind of...
Sandwich.
3
sandwiches.
It looks like
Yeah.
a sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like, you know, when...
You know what scientists are like.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, in terms of, you know, like... Hitchhiker's Guide, when it's like you're making the computer that is going to answer all the questions, and then the computer comes out with, well, here's the answer, because that's what all you asked me for. You've not asked me for the question. Yeah, so it's like, you start again, I'll make another computer that will ask that question, and you'll have to wait 5 billion years for it. So, you know.
Did you just ask it to make food in the galaxy, like...
If you were to represent the galaxy
just,
in food form, what would it be? And they went, a sandwich.
Well, it didn't say
It's a
sandwich.
triple decker.
It looked like a sandwich within a sandwich within a sandwich, and it was just crazy.
With Jared
looking.
from Subway holding it.
Yeah.
It
probably was a sandwich.
Okay. I love the fact that we live in a big sandwich.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Well, you never know.
So, yeah, there was basically, I've got this last story about NASA's development of... they've got a solution to fix its troubled Lucy asteroid explorer.
All right.
So this is one of the little rover things they've sent out,
Yeah.
right, to assess asteroids
Yeah.
and risk and stuff like that. It got basically trapped near Jupiter in some sort of predicament.
Yeah.
And they've had to come up with a new way of solving the problem. So, however, a problem arose 12 hours after launch. As one of the solar arrays designed to generate power got failed, basically, and wouldn't deploy. So now, obviously, it's wonder how they do stuff like this. You know, they're in space now. They've just been sent out in space. So how do they kind of tackle maintenance problems?
Because most of it would be more likely electronic. All they have to do is, put some code in to do this, do that. Just slight movements.
Well,
there's not
even
movements.
a camera on the on board, which can help him and assist him in seeing what the problem is. They've all got to do it blindfold.
Oh, that's like James Webb. James Webb, if there's a problem there, and there has been a problem, even though it's going okay at the minute, there has been problems with dust strikes, but there hasn't been any major problem yet. But if it does turn up, how long? And they've added extra 10 years on it as well, because it saves so much energy to get there. So it's like if something happens to it, we can't do anything. That's it.
Well, they've basically
36 billion fucking
came up with 2 potential solutions. One was a simple way of using the array as it was.
Yeah.
It was still generating 90% of its power needed.
Right.
And the other attempt was to pull the lanyard holder by using the backup developer motor as well as the primary motor, hopefully allowing it to wind further out and attach to the mezzanine.
Say?
Or whatever it is, or the fucking bracket they needed to clip onto. But yeah, they managed to do something anyway, but...
Yeah.
It didn't close enough to get to the latch, but they managed to get it a bit out there. So, I mean, it's still going to generate power, it's still going to work, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I've seen it. I remember the image of it now. It's only the last little bit that it needs to flap
it's just
in.
literally you can't clamp in, but they've managed to pull it out. So the motors must have worked anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think that's the show.
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for everybody who's listened to the end.
Yes,
we do appreciate you.
We do,
and
indeed.
Obviously, you're just good people.
Yeah.
We do always say our fans are the best fans.
Yeah, we try and entertain you as much as possible.
Not that we've got fans. Listeners, that's more. That's more like
good,
it.
Info.
Well, well, you know what? I think we'll bring back shout-outs at some point, but because we've not done any good shout-outs for ages. But there's a lot of people who we want to give props and love to. But we'll sort that out for next week.
Yeah.
But that's the end of the show. Like I say, if you want to get in touch, you have a question, comment, or suggestion for us, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. We're available on Instagram at neverstraightanswer.
Yep.
Twitter, NASA_never.
Indeed.
Or go to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk where you can find a lot of cool stuff from blogs, videos, what else?
loads.
Downloadable content.
Yeah.
Merch. And
back
everything
catalogue,
else. Back catalogue.
Everything that you need.
200 recordings plus.
Yes.
If you need to listen to that much of us.
Yes.
It's all available.
If you're bored
for free.
somewhere, just put us on.
It's all there for free.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's it. Thank you for listening to us. We're available on all podcast platforms, so wherever you listen to podcasts, which you're listening now, so you must have a preferred method.
Yeah.
Subscribe. It's all good.
Intelligent people who listen to this.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Do you know what? Actually, our demographic says that we have listeners in all age groups, but one of our highest is 60 to 120.
Hey, see,
in the age of 60 to 120.
Happy birthday to the 121 who lasts that long.
That guy who's like, you know what? Who's 120
I know.
that's subscribed?
I know.
Thank you.
There's got to be someone. Yeah, there's someone 122, something like that.
And he subscribes to us. Yeah, of course he does.
Good.
Well, you know what to do. If you want to get in touch, you can contact us. So anyway, that's the end of the show. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I hope, all I'm going to do is end the show with prosperity to everybody. It's been a money-motivated show, but let's hope that everybody feels a little bit better off towards the end of this year and going into the next. So
and then it's come to the bottom, but we'll get back to the top again.
We always do.
Yeah. British Bulldog.
Well, we'll catch you next week. I've been Gaz.
I've been Sailor.
This has been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Out.